My brother stood up at Thanksgiving, announced my parents were giving him the family business and I was getting nothing. So I took a sip of wine, looked at my dad and said, should I tell them now or do you want to? I'm Ava, 34. My family owns Bennett Industrial Solutions, a manufacturing company my grandfather built in 1959. When I was 12, my dad gathered us in the living room. Ethan will inherit the business. That's how it should be. The company stays with the men. What about me? He laughed. Sweetheart, you'll get married. Have your own life. Your brother is the legacy. From that day, I was invisible. At 16, I spent 3 weeks creating a cost-saving proposal. Grandpa had taught me operational efficiency before he died. I handed it to my father. He didn't even read it. Just gave the entire folder to Ethan. Present this at the board meeting. Ethan presented it word for word. When a board member asked about depreciation schedules, he stared blankly. Everyone applauded anyway. That night, I made a decision. If they wouldn't give me a seat at the table, I'd buy the table. I left at 18. Full scholarship to Wharton. Zero support from my family. Nobody came to my graduation. Nobody called. I graduated summa cum laude. Got recruited by a top M&A firm on Wall Street. By 31, I was a director. Then 3 years ago, I saw Bennett Industrial on a distressed assets list. Revenue down 34%. Drowning in debt. Grandpa's company was dying. I called my dad. What's happening with the business? This is men's business, Ava. You wouldn't understand. I texted Ethan. LOL, stay in your lane, little sis. But here's what they didn't know. Grandpa never consolidated ownership. Shares were distributed to employees, partners, family members. My dad only controlled 31%. I hired a corporate attorney. Is acquiring shares from willing sellers legal? Absolutely. The question is whether you can convince them. Over 18 months, I made 47 calls. Harold, a retired engineer. Your grandfather said you were the one who should be running things. He sold me 4.2%. Martha, a widow in Kansas. My husband would be so disappointed in what's happened. She sold me 3.7%. Douglas, a cousin. That boy couldn't run a lemonade stand. He sold me 2.1%. One by one, they signed. Quietly, privately. Each transaction documented and notarized. Nobody looked at the corporate records. By November, I owned 44.3%. I needed 50.1%. Ray Carter was Grandpa's closest friend. They'd started the company together. He owned 7.1%. I flew to Vermont. I'm trying to take control before Dad and Ethan destroy everything. Ray pulled out an old folder. Inside was a letter in Grandpa's handwriting, dated 23 years ago. Richard doesn't have the vision, and Ethan doesn't have the character, but Ava does. If she ever comes to you, give her everything she needs. She's the one who should be running this company. Ray slid the share transfer across the table. Already prepared. I've been waiting for you, Ava. Total, 51.3%. Controlling interest. Thanksgiving dinner. 37 relatives gathered. Ethan stood up. Champagne raised. Mom and Dad have officially decided to sign the company over to me. Little sis gets nothing. The room erupted in applause. I set my wine glass down. Dad, should I tell them now, or do you want to? I pulled out documents. The company isn't being signed over to you, Ethan. Dad doesn't own enough shares. He controls 31%. That's nowhere near enough. I spread papers across the table. As of last week, I own 51.3% of Bennett Industrial. I am the majority shareholder. Dead silence. My attorney stood up. Every transaction has been properly documented and notarized. Legally unassailable. Ethan's face went white. This is fraud. It's legitimate acquisition from willing sellers. Would you like to hear what they said about your leadership? My father's voice shook. This company is mine. Grandpa built it. You've been running it into the ground. Revenue down 34%. Market share cut in half. I showed him Grandpa's letter. Grandpa predicted this 23 years ago. He knew you didn't have the vision. He knew Ethan didn't have the character. And he knew I was the one who should be running things. Monday's board meeting. 7-2 vote to remove my father as CEO. I was appointed immediately. First act, fire Ethan. This is my birthright. This company has our name on it, and I'm going to save it. 3 years later, Bennett Industrial is thriving. Revenue up 23%. Ethan works at a car dealership in Florida now. My parents never apologized, but every Thanksgiving, I host dinner with the family I built, my team, friends who believed in me. I raise my glass to Grandpa Walt, who knew I'd find my way back, and to everyone who told me I couldn't. Thank you for the motivation. Some stories you have to fight for every word. This one took me 23 years to finish.